Listen, what's amazing about this passage to me is the eminent dignity in the believer of God. Here are Christians who have lost all their worldly belongings. They've been persecuted. They're suffering. They don't even have a home. They're being required to live in a holy love and communion with each other. Peter is really saying, no, you need to live at this standard. No matter what you're facing, you have to live at this standard. And then he says, of course, according to the will and plan of God, but then he says, or at least what I'm implying here about, what gave them their dignity? What gives anyone dignity? Not only do they hold title to the heritage of God's blessings, and each one of us do. Did you know that? You have heritage to God's blessings. Can you say amen? Amen. Do you want me to get Herb to start jumping up and down again? I mean, that's where jumping up and down, where we get God's blessings in hand. They're ours to have and receive. That gives us dignity because we belong to the most wonderful Father on the face of the planet. But even more so, what brings dignity, the Lord, in His grace and mercy, has chosen a few out of their midst to lead them as His own people. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that God in His sovereign wisdom chose a few people and said, I want you to lead my people in the way they should go. By your example. Isn't that amazing? Do you know what dignity, you know what that does to a person? When you know that God cares that much for you to put someone in charge that will take care of you, even when you're being a spoiled brat and don't deserve it. Like all of us. Like all of us. He's saying to act dignified in your circumstances. But same with leaders. You act dignified too. You're not to rule by tyranny or coercive force. Or make people succumb to every duty and law. That's where they were. But to lovingly lead His people into righteousness by faith. That is the role of a leader.